welcome to your Focus on Sports. I'm Mark Anthony Lopez.
And I'm Alexis Molina.
Fresno State women's tennis remains undefeated at home this season. Harley Casina has more on their final home match of the year and their senior day celebration.
The Fresno State women's tennis team is powering through conference play, finding victories over the past weekend against UNLV and San Diego State.
Everyone's ready to dig deep for every single match, and no one's ready to throw in the towel. And sometimes in the middle of the season and middle of the conference, it's easier to do that. But these girls have so much grit and focus and fight that they're ready to be out here for 3 hours, 4 hours.
Last weekend also marked the end of home matches for the Bulldogs this season and included a celebration for the seniors on the team.
I'm here at the Spalding G. Wathen Tennis Complex, where Fresno State Women's Tennis is honoring 3 special seniors: Ella Huzrepovich, A.C. Hummel, and Janie Ellis.
Friends and family of the athletes took the court to celebrate the seniors before the final home match of their college careers.
It was such a great day because it was such a build-up of the last 4 years. Just we faced a lot of adversity, us 3 together, so it was just so special that we all could be there together and everyone supported. It was such an amazing day.
One senior in particular came in clutch for the Dogs, securing the clinching point over ranked San Diego State in a tight match.
Clinching on senior day, that's kind of everyone's dream come true. So I was very nervous at the end and my heart was beating, but yeah, that's honestly the best way to finish home season.
The women's tennis team continues their season in San Jose this weekend as they compete with the Spartans and the Wolfpack.
Fresno State's water polo continued its hot streak with two big wins over the weekend. The Bulldogs beat California Baptist and number 20 San Diego State to remain undefeated in the conference play. The Dogs have won 11 straight to improve to 14-7 on the season and 5-0 in conference. Fresno State will play a 2-game road trip this weekend at Azusa Pacific on Friday and LMU on Saturday.
The Fresno State track and field team next meet will be in Southern California. The Dogs competed in the West Coast Relays at Veterans Memorial Stadium this past weekend. Let's take a look back to see how they did. In shot put, sophomore Sierra Jackson threw for a personal record of 15.24 meters to place second overall. Freshman Rochella Pace jumped a personal record of 12.36 meters in the triple jump, winning the event. Dual sport athlete Daly Dunn competed in the 40-meter hurdles and finished third place in her heat, with a time of 1:04.84. Dunn wasn't the only dual athlete, however. Junior Chase Remlinger also plays football for the Dogs.
No, especially now that I know what it's like to play 2 sports, I would have never seen myself doing this, but I'm glad I did, for sure. It's so much fun being able to still be with my track teammates and then also be there out on the football field.
Remlinger competed in both the hammer and discus at the West Coast Relays, earning a spot in the hammer throw finals by throwing a mark of 53.65 meters, finishing 8th overall. Remlinger also placed 14th overall in discus with a throw of 45.31 meters.
The NCAA's women's basketball tournament is over. The top-seeded South Carolina Gamecocks beat the Yukon Huskies by a score of 64-49. Aaliyah Boston, the winner of the Naismith Player of the Year, was named the Final Four's most outstanding player. Destiny Henderson led the Gamecocks with 26 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals in a game that was never really close. This was UConn's first time ever losing in the national championship.
This journey of being a coach has been truly gratifying, and I have to reflect on this part of it. It comes with a great deal of pressure.
Staley is the first black head coach to win multiple NCAA championships. The Gamecocks were the #1 team in the country throughout the regular season. Coming up after the break, we take a look at the Fresno Grizzlies' upcoming season.
And we'll take a deep dive into the new NFL overtime rule changes.
We are one Fresno State, a university that celebrates the bold excellence of our students. Our Bulldogs become your child's teacher, your family's healthcare provider, your leader, your problem solver, your hero. A degree from Fresno State opens minds and opens doors. This is where bold begins.
I got the bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head. Up in my head.
I got that bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to stay. I got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart.
Got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay.
I got that bulldog spirit
down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes, I got that bulldog spirit.
down in my toes. Hey!
Down in my toes to stay. I got that bulldog spirit up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit all over me to stay. I got that bulldog spirit
deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that bulldog spirit.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. Generations linked forever by traditions that have stood the test of time. Inside our stadiums, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
Fresno State baseball hosted a 3-game series versus Air Force over the weekend. The Bulldogs went 1-2 in the series to fall 13-14 on the year and 7-5 in the Mountain West. The Dogs' lone win was an 8-6 win on Saturday that included a huge 6-run inning. The Dogs will look to bounce back this weekend versus the New Mexico Lobos. Bob Bennett Stadium will be the place for this 3-game series. First pitch will be tomorrow at 6:05, so don't be late.
Fresno State's softball team is all smiles after winning its first series win in the Mountain West against San Jose State. During their Sunday game, the Dogs were down 2-0 in the bottom of the third. The Dogs were able to come back with a 2-out rally started by Avery Lowy and continued by 3 other Dogs hitting RBI singles. Lowy contributed again with another RBI single in the top of the 5th. The Bulldogs were able to end the game with 4 runs, 7 hits, and 0 errors. The Fresno Grizzlies are set to kick off their 20th season in downtown Fresno. Gabe Camarillo has the team preview.
I am Gabe Camarillo reporting from Ncaa Park for Fresno State Focus. The sights and sounds of Fresno Grizzlies baseball will be back on Friday. It's going to be the Fresno Grizzlies against the Stockton Ports on opening day, and it marks the 20th year of the Grizzlies playing here in downtown Fresno in this beautiful park, Ncaa Park. It's kind of gone under a couple names. Grizzlies Stadium was what it was opened under, but Grizzlies baseball has been played here for 20 years. They're playing in Single A now, and they're looking for a Single A championship in the California League. They'll play against teams like the Stockton Ports, the Modesto Nuts, the Visalia Rawhide, and they will have the leadership of head coach Robinson Cancel. They'll also have the leadership of a couple of Central Valley guys. You have E.J. Andrews Jr., who has renounced his SoCal ties and announced the Central Valley as his home because he played for the Fresno State Bulldogs during his collegiate career. You also have Braden Ward, who played at El Capitan High School. He makes his return to the Central Valley. 3-game set for the Grizzlies against the Stockton Ports coming up this weekend. You can come Friday, Saturday evening, and Sunday afternoon. You can come all season long for the Grizzlies as they pursue a Cal League title.
The Grizzlies open up at home tomorrow versus Stockton. The first pitch is at 6:50 p.m. and there will be post-game fireworks.
With spring training over, it's time to play ball. Then MLB regular season kicks off this morning as the New York Yankees host the Boston Red Sox at 10:05. The California teams play tomorrow afternoon, with the Oakland A's traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. The LA Dodgers head to Colorado to take on the Rockies in an early NL West divisional series. And the San Francisco Giants will stay home and welcome the Miami Marlins to Oracle Park to start their season.
Changes are coming to the overtime rules in the NFL playoffs this season. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced the rule change last week. Now both teams will have a chance to possess the ball in overtime. With the previous rule, of the 12 teams who won the coin toss, 10 went on and won. Of those 10 winners, 7 scored on a touchdown in overtime to end the game. Now guys, do you think these changes are going to have more of a positive effect on the game or negative?
Honestly, I really think it's going to have a bigger negative impact on the game. And before we even go any farther, can we just all agree that this is the Josh Allen rule? Like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills game. My issues with it is I don't agree with it because for the team, starting with the ball, it still leaves an unknown. Do you go down, you go for a 2-point conversion? Do you just take the PAT? Because if you go for the 2-point and miss, the team scores a touchdown, kicks PAT, game over.
I feel like that's when you bring that up, I think it is kind of important. It shows both sides of the teams when it comes to showing that they need to play a defense and knowing that they need to be able to get the stop. It's on the other team's discretion if they really want to go for two to really put the game out of reach for their opponent. But I think personally this is a positive change. I think obviously knowing as the Josh Allen rule and as we obviously point to that game against Kansas City being the reason why we needed the overtime rule change, I think that it's a good thing for the sport, but I do low-key wish that it was more of college rules where it's just a shootout.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Mark. So this is the most important games of the season. For them to be decided by a coin toss is just ridiculous to me. There's too many times that that's happened. So I think that this is a great change.
Yeah. Holden, do you have any more thoughts before we wrap this up?
I still think we need to tie it into the opening kickoff. That way you know who's getting the ball. Before you even start overtime, you can plan strategically towards the end of the game. Say you're going down, you want to kick the PAT to tie it. Maybe you don't want to go to overtime. You go for two to try and end it there. I'm staying with that one.
Well, thanks so much, Holden, for joining us.
The Fresno State men's basketball team became Basketball Classic champions. So for that, we have a very special edition of Fresno State Focus Top Plays of the Week. I'm Holly Casina. Let's get right into it. First things first, we're back with some more Braxton Ncaa content. Obviously, put this guy in a pair of Yeezys, throw him on the court, and you know he is going to make that alley-oop every single time with a little help from our friend Donovan Yap. Next up, we've got Orlando Robinson. This guy is almost impossible to block. Just look at how he cuts through this defense. The big guy is always making big-time plays. Now, when you have a guy like Destin Whitaker going 6 for 6 at the arc during a championship game, how are you supposed to only pick one of them for a top play of the week? Trick question, you pick them all. It is Destin's world, and we are just living in it. And that's a wrap on Focus on Sports Top Plays of the Week. Once again, congratulations to the Fresno State men's basketball team. I will see you next week for more plays. I'm Holly Casina, and as always, go Dogs.
And that's our show.
Thank you for tuning in.
We'll be back next week to bring you more in your weekly Focus on Sports.
And as always, go Dogs.